He kōna I purangi tēnei nā te reo irirangi o Aotearoa.
In my life, I have had my textile training, and from then on I just followed textiles around the world, wherever they brought me.
This is Christine Keller, a weaver, textile designer and artist based in Otago, Dunedin.
And I'm from Hamburg, and Dunedin is the furthest away city in the world from where I come from, not Christchurch and not Invercargill. And I've lived here for almost 20 years. I started traveling to Japan and then to Finland, to Austria and to Canada, to Mongolia. Yeah, just followed my passion really.
And one of Christine's recent projects is to do with period care.
When I looked at the options we have, and when I looked more into menstruation and periods and period poverty, I found out that the products we're using actually have lots of chemicals in it. And I know it's been in the media recently. I've known that for about 3 or 4 years now.
Studies show that mainstream period care products like tampons contain toxic chemicals that can cause health issues. And a typical sanitary pad is made of about 90% plastic.
And that means that plastic does not disintegrate in about 800 years. And if we really, really think about that, how can we continue buying those pads?
To offer a more sustainable alternative, Christine started an initiative called Sew On Period Care to involve the community and make reusable sanitary pads.
Basically, it is really important to start a conversation about pads and periods, because period poverty is not just that you don't have the money, but it is that you don't know what's out there because we don't talk about periods. The more we hear about it, the more people will maybe take it on to adapt it. There is nothing dirty about periods, just a natural thing.
My name is Karthik and this is Here Now. Sew On Period Care is a not-for-profit community project led by Christine Keller. I am in Christine's custom-built studio in the Northeast Valley area, where she runs Dunedin Loom Room and conducts community weaving classes.
New Zealand's culture, colonial culture I must say, is built up on sheep, and so weaving is a core skill for New Zealand. And I wanted to keep that skill and turn out more people that can weave.
Christine feels right at home in Dunedin, but the city's hilly landscape was a new experience for someone coming from northern Germany.
So I come from Hamburg and it's flat and it's 100 Kilometer from the seaside. Und wir sehen am Mittag schon, wer zum Abendessen kommt, and that means we can see at lunchtime who will come for dinner. It's that flat there. A Kiwi once told me that in Auckland we ask how much money do you have. In Wellington you ask who do you work for. In Christchurch you ask what school did you go to. And in Dunedin you ask how are you. It seems that lots of people care for each other, and so I really like the community spirit around Dunedin.
She was the head of textiles at the Otago Polytechnic for 5 years, but things changed in 2010 when her role was made redundant.
When I lost my job at the Polytechnic, I had to do something to survive, and I'm a maker. And the first thing I made was 200 jars of jam. And then I bought a loom from my redundancy money, and then I started weaving, and then I started to remind myself that I don't like to work by myself. And so I created a community around me. And the community of weavers is almost more important to me than the weaving.
In 2020, combining her passion for art, community, and the environment, Christine started making reusable pads with 3 sewing machines and a few volunteers.
I want to say there is a few other period initiatives already in the country, and it's fantastic how we bring period into the awareness of the population. The thing that I was missing is the one of do-it-yourself, so that's where I focus my interest on. So I am with a small group of people. We are at the moment meeting once a week to make pads, and I have tried over the years different things. So I needed to learn first how to make pads, how to teach people to make pads and all this stuff. And now we are ready to become a community group.
Studies in the US and the UK have found that a person with periods discards around 200 kilograms of single-use period products in their lifetime. Most of this is non-biodegradable and ends up in landfills. While these reusable pads are not completely plastic-free, they are made of as little plastic as possible. So they are more sustainable than single-use mainstream pads.
We talk sometimes, or people talk about plastic-free periods, and I want to say that it's not 100% plastic-free if your period is strong. We use a material that's called PUL, and that is polyester with polyurethane laminate. So you have a polyester fabric. It's very flexible and it has a coating of polyurethane, and we need a waterproof material. It's the same material that's used in reusable diapers. We have a little bit of polyester sewing thread that for technical reason is better than the cotton thread, and we need a button. So at the moment we use plastic push buttons, but if you don't want that, you can use other buttons that are not made from plastic and make a buttonhole.
The rest of the pad is made of reused fabric.
For our pads, we use other fabrics that are all 100% cellulose based. So mostly cotton, but we could use linen or rayon as well, but we want the material really to be compostable. So you could cut out your used pad, you cut the seam off that is made with plastic, pull the plastic layer out, and the rest is really compostable or burnable.
Christine shows me a used blue t-shirt on a hanger, and it's marked out with patterns of multiple sanitary pads.
So we've been given these t-shirts from the Otago University School of Business for making pads from it, and I made one to prepare for outings so that we can show here how the pad could be cut off the t-shirt. For example, a pad could be sewn from that, and I have one that's still attached to the t-shirt so that people can understand that it's real recycling of your clothing, for example.
Studies around the world have found that a person with periods spends thousands of dollars on menstrual products in their lifetime. And here in New Zealand, a recent survey of over 1,000 people aged 16 to 54 found that more than 1 in 3 have struggled to afford period products at some point. Christine's project can help change this a bit.
So basically, to make a pad when you're not a fantastic sewer will take you an hour. And that means we value our pads at a money value of $25. If you buy the PUL in bigger amounts, it's not that expensive. So I buy a meter for, let's say, 20 New Zealand dollar, and that will probably give me 100 pads. And then I use leftover materials and some push buttons. And so I think I can make a pad for, let's say, $1 material, but I have the 1 hour human time cost. So I value it at $25. Sew On Project is a charitable project. So when you receive a pad, if you have money, you can value the pad at $25. Or you don't have that much money, you can give us $15 or you can give us $5 per pad. If you don't have any money, take the pad, don't give us money, tell other people about the project, make more pads.
The reusable pads are made in different sizes.
People with periods, everybody bleeds differently, and so there is a pad that would be best for each person, different size, different shape, different thickness. One woman, she sewed through pregnancy with us, and then I said we should get some postpartum pads for you. We made them, and next week she didn't come back because she said the baby came way early, and I was so happy I had the pads. The people who have tried the pads, they really liked them, and they said that they were a total game changer. They said they are in love with their pads.
This September, Christine conducted a free period kit making workshop, first of its kind in Dunedin, to share pad making skills with the public. And she hopes to organize more events involving the community.
For the Sew On project, I dream of a padathon. So imagine we would make in 1 week in Dunedin 1,000 pads for Dunedin people. And I asked for Dunedin in this case because actually at the moment the City Council has helped me to do the project. But if any people anywhere else in New Zealand want to pick this up, let's do pads for all of New Zealand. I'm happy with that.
Volunteers have sewn close to 500 reusable pads in the last 4 years.
I think it is something that can grow. So in Dunedin, at the moment, we have in Northeast Valley, in the loom room, a studio where on Tuesday nights we make pads from 6 to 9 o'clock. And so people can come, ideally email me before, and you can learn how to make pads. So we are looking for people who are interested in helping with the sewing of pads. We also look for people who are interested in trying to use pads for themselves. The other thing is that it would be cool if people that like making, if you could just make your little local group. All you need is a sewing machine, some materials. We will have a video on what to make on the website soon. We just produced that last week.
In Aotearoa, there has been a growing interest in sustainable period care products like menstrual cups, organic and reusable sanitary pads in the last few years. And initiatives like Sew On Period Care continue to raise awareness on sustainable alternatives.
My hope for the impact is that more people in New Zealand and anywhere in the world will stop just buying what is practically single-use plastic pads. I don't want everybody to sew, you don't need to sew your own pads, but you need to think about not using that throwaway stuff. We can't afford it as a humanity.
Christine Keller talking about a project involving the community in Dunedin to make reusable sanitary pads. You're listening to Here Now with me, Karthik. Follow and listen to more episodes of the show on your favorite podcast platforms. Thanks for listening. Ma Te Wa.